Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be doing another one on Rivals of Aether 2 and talking about one of the new characters that has been released, that being Loxodont. And like I stated in my previous video, the point of these isn't really to be a tutorial as much as it is a first impression. So with that in mind, the first thing that I want to talk about is going to be Loxodont's gimmick, which I'm just going to be referring to as his big boom from now on, his down B where he gets the fire on him. And there's three charges of it. You get the little blast, the medium blast, and the big blast. And this is a crucial part of Loxodont's kit because it is not only a very important combo tool and one of his best kill confirms, because especially with the big blast, your opponent gets sent so high up in the air that whatever back air or down air that you do off stage, if the percent is high enough, they're just absolutely going to be dying there. But it provides a more important value as acting as an out of shield option, and a very good out of shield option at that, because even if your opponent doesn't get caught up in that hitbox, they manage to shield it in time, you are still disengaging from the situation, you are escaping from it. So obviously that's crucial. And then it can be used in neutral as well. It is a bit of a commitment and it is a limited resource as well. I mean, technically it's an infinite resource, but it's not a resource that you always have access to, so it's not something that you want to be throwing up willy-nilly, especially considering how bad Loxodont's disadvantage state is. And I would say that this down B makes it significantly better, again, specifically in the recovery. It just makes it so his vertical range is just bigger, like straight up he could just go more places, I guess horizontal and vertical range, considering he's kind of going up at that 45-degree angle. But you get the main point that I'm trying to convey here. The down B makes his disadvantage state as well as his advantage state much stronger. It gives him a really good get out of jail free card, and really the only downside of down B is the fact that you just have to charge it. Aside from that, it's very strong. Now we've got that out of the way, let's just go into the pros and cons of Loxodont. Starting off with the pros, and this first one I actually don't know if it's a pro or not. I think time will tell on this, but I want to talk about his neutral special, specifically the projectile part of it as of right now, because I can't tell if this thing is a really good Gordo or if it's just Gordo. Now, I am leaning towards it being a very good Gordo just because you have so much more control over it, and you're also able to control how strong it is. If you hold down neutral special, that projectile is going to be killing you surprisingly early, especially if you manage to hit it at your opponent when they're in a bad spot off stage. And as I said, Loxodont has amazing control over the ball. You can keep it for pretty much as long as you want if you just nair chain it across the stage over and over again. So that's obviously going to be something that's very strong for him, and giving a heavy projectile is always something that is going to be beneficial, but it is of course a projectile that you can hit back at your opponent. And unlike King DDD, where he can just like immediately side B and the Gordo just like comes back to him, Loxodont doesn't have that option. He is going to have to reactively just hit the projectile backwards. So I think time will really only tell how good that projectile is as a tool in neutral, but I think as a kind of a two-framing tool, maybe not two-framing is the right word, but I can't think of the word right now. Frame trapping. I thought of it. There was like a 30-second pause there that I'll probably cut out. But frame trapping is the word that I'm thinking of. I do think the ball has potential there, and just as an extra tool of pressure. But as a projectile, I'm not sure how strong it is as of now. And then while we're on the topic of neutral special, I should get this out of the way. His neutral special, like the elephant trunk going up, is insanely strong. And it is something that you can confirm into. And it also kills off the top. So that's going to be something that is a huge boon for Loxodont. Killing is really not a problem with this character because you've got like 3 or 5 moves that confirm into this absolute machine of a move. Now it's time to talk about the main pros of Loxodont, and the most evident one is definitely going to be his disjoints. He's the most disjointed character in Rivals 2, and the only characters that really come close to his range are going to be Clarin and Fleet, but everyone else is fighting with their head, and because of that, Loxodont just has huge spacing advantages, because when you're trading hitboxes, quote-unquote, you're getting hit, and Loxodont isn't, because his hitbox is a big sword and yours is your face, so that's obviously going to be a huge benefit from him. And it also helps that those disjoints are massive. Like, these aren't nest disjoints, these things are like disjoints. His forward tilt specifically is like half the stage, and then you can do forward tilt 2 to like just send them off stage, or you could cancel it and then do down tilt, which sends them the perfect spot for literally anything that you want as Loxodont. So you have this massive disjoint that's a combo tool. You have moves like forward air, which combos into itself and is also an up air and also a back air, or also a down air. Maybe not a back air, but the other ones, absolutely it is. That move basically does it all. Back air hits like a truck. Up air is a great juggle tool. Loxodont's disjoints are incredible, and they are easily the best thing about him. editing proof block, I realized that I didn't really talk about Loxodont's grab at all, and I definitely wanted to touch on it because his grab is honestly super strong. His special pummel is going to give him a charge of fire, which is super nice. He's going to get down throw being a tech chasing one, and y'all know that I love my tech chasing throws. Forward throw and back throw are kill throws. I think forward throw is definitely the stronger one. Back throw isn't the strongest by any means, but hey, having 2 kill throws, I mean, we're definitely not going to get playing there. And then the final one and the main one is going to be up throw, and that is going to be your combo tool at low percent and your kill confirm at high percent. So even though I don't think Loxodont is as much of a grappler as someone like Craig would be, he gets a ton of value from his neutral special. Loxodont side B, you're not getting as much value as you would, though you still can, and it still does send up into a tech chase, which, as I literally said in this segment, big fan of that. You're not going to be going for the grabs as much. You're more generally going to be playing for your disjoints, but he is still a good grappler heavy. Editing block once again really quick, just also wanted to give credit to Loxodont's jab. I think it's quite good. It has a really nice disjoint. It's an amazing combo tool, jab 1 specifically, and jab 2 sends them in a really nice angle where you're able to continue your advantage. I just thought I should add that. Another really big pro for Loxodont is going to be his kill power, which is, pretty obvious. He's an elephant with an axe. It better be one of his big pros, but both on and off stage, this guy is a serious threat. Off stage, you're going to have to deal with moves like specifically down air and forward air. Obviously, down air, super strong spike, not a ton to stay there, but forward air is just like this insane walling tool that you can do 3 to 4 times off stage. I'm not even exaggerating there. You can literally spam that while your opponent is trying to recover, and there's just nothing they can do. They get clipped by it once. It's pretty strong. They're going to be sent into the blast zone. So he's really strong in that aspect, and on stage, he doesn't get any weaker. He has those down B confirms, like I mentioned earlier. He has side B, which forces you into a tech chase scenario, and that combos so well with his down smash, specifically when he has the charged up version of the down smash, like the fire all around it, because not only does that make it stronger, it also makes the hitbox on it bigger, and it also makes it last longer. So it's basically impossible to mess up a tech chase at that point. Raw kill moves for this character is strong. You can confirm up throw into back air. There's just so many ways that Loxodont has to steal the stock, and on top of all of that, he's also the heaviest character in the game. So assuming that he doesn't get edge guarded, which is a big if, he's got the best longevity in the game. And that's actually going to segue me into the cons of Loxodont. And the first one is actually going to be his longevity, because even though he is the heaviest character in the game, that comes with being the biggest body in the game. So you're going to be clipped by more hitboxes. It's going to be way easier to combo you. Basically, everything that you were doing on like Maple or Rano, you can do on Loxodont with like 50 to 40% less accuracy, and probably also get away with some other stuff too. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's the price you pay when you're heavy. And it usually balances out. But for Loxodont, it doesn't, because his recovery is so garbage. I think he has the worst recovery in the game by like a significant margin, and the only other person who even contends it would be Orcane, in my opinion. But at least for Orcane, you have the puddle sometimes just being on the other side of the stage, so you get a jail at a free card. Loxodont is just always in jail when he goes off stage, because if you grab the ledge and he has to up B, he's probably just going to die, because the up B forces a 50-50 basically every time you do it. Am I going to grab the ledge? Am I going to go on stage with the hitbox? If you grab the ledge, it's 100% he's going to go on stage with the hitbox, and it's a very easy thing for you to punish, especially if you're just like, sitting on the ledge. You can just ledge hop into a downer, into literally whatever you want, because every downer confirms into everything in this game. So the obvious solution there for the Loxodont players is, oh, I just won't up B, and that is like a kind of feasible solution, because you do have ways to get to the wall. As I mentioned, down B is a really good tool to get to the wall. You also have side B, which covers a ton of space, and if you manage to hit your opponent, it is actually going to be spiking them downwards, so they're not going to be able to reversal you unless they just like tech and immediately own you, which I guess could happen. But it's a lot easier said than done. It's just don't up B ever, because if you do, you're probably going to die unless your opponent is just like caught off in midair sleeping at the wheel. So it just makes the recovery part of the game, which is like a really big aspect of the game, so inconsistent for Loxodont. His main condition to get back to the stage is like his main condition to lose the match, because it is so easy to punish. So unless Loxodont players are able to find a way to consistently recover without their up B, which again I do think is kind of feasible, because you do have other tools at your disposal and the wall jump is really strong, but unless that's the case, this character is going to struggle hard off stage. And the final two things that I have for Loxodont kind of go well together, and it's just that he's not a super nimble character, and he also doesn't have a great disadvantage state. But to be honest, the current disadvantage state for Rivals is really weird, because in most fighting games, or at least fighting games like this one, you get sent up, and when you are above your opponent, that is disadvantage state. But Rivals' disadvantage state is like, okay, I just got spiked in the ground and I need to tech and he's running at me and I need to get away from this man. And that's all disadvantage state is. You just do that over and over and over again. So in that case scenario, Loxodont is just like everyone else. We're all teching and running away for our lives. But in the case scenario where he's actually getting juggled, which still happens, he definitely does struggle there more than other characters, which makes sense. He's a big body. He's not super fast. And now we come to my conclusion of Loxodont. How good do I think this character is? And as you can probably tell from this video, I think Loxodont is pretty good. I would put this character like probably somewhere in the high tier, but I also think that Loxodont is the worst character in the game. And that's just kind of how Rivals 2 works. I think it's very important to understand that the top 5 or 4, actually the top 4 characters in this game are all Steve level broken. And then you have everyone else, which is like Sonic level broken. And then you have Loxodont, and he's like Roy, you know, he's pretty good, but he's just not on that level of obscenity that everyone else is. So it's really not to the fault of Loxodont. He's trying his best, and his best is pretty decent if I'm being honest, but everyone else is just like, they're on drugs and they're not sharing. So with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the sport. It's been absolutely unreal as of late. Let me know what character you'll want to see next, anything I got wrong, or if you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below, sub while you're down there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.